Hello, basketball coaches and basketball players. My name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to show you a sort of rare basketball defense that you could run if you have a really athletic point guard, or at least a fast player who can run pretty much all game. Really quickly, before we get down to the clipboard, if you have a really quick guard, another defense that you might really like is my Unbeatable basketball defense book, which is in the link in the description below. Now let's get down to the clipboard and let's check this out. Okay, so obviously this is a zone defense, and from there what we're going to be having is two different options to run this same zone defense. So the number one option is by having player 4 guarding this zone, player 5 guarding this zone, player 3 guarding this zone, and player 2 guarding up top. Meanwhile, we'll have player 1 who is then playing man-to-man defense on the other team's best player. The other option for this is by still having each one of these players in this zone guarding the same areas. However, we'll have player 1 who's guarding from the free throw line extended and up. He is essentially going to be guarding the 3-point line all the way around to the other side of the free throw line extended. That is player 1's zone. Now, as I was saying, there's a few different ways of running this zone defense, and this is one of them. So for those two different types of zones out of the same formation, what would you use them for? So the one where, let's say player 1 has the ball, and this is man-to-man defense, no matter where player 1 blue is going, player 1 red is following. What you're going to be seeing here is if you're playing up against a team that cannot shoot 3-point shots, like they're a dismal 25% or worse from the 3-point line, then this is the defense what you want to run because it's covering the high post. It's also giving you the ability to double team the low post. So in this case, this is actually better than the box and one, mainly because it's allowing you to double team the post and still have single coverage up on the elbows. If, for example, a player was having the ball on the elbow and we had, let's say, some kind of a 3 low post or a 3 post set, and coaches may try to do this against you because we'll have player 2 red guarding player 3 blue. He'll pass over to player 2 blue, hoping that it pulls up one of these two players, which we would then not have player 5 pull up. We want him to stay in the low post. We would then be having player red 4 guarding the inside of the opposite side of the post and bring player 3 up. Now it looks like a box and one, but if they pass down to the low block, we would then have a double team down low with player 3 and 5 red. We would then have player 2 move over, guarding the passing lane to player 2 as well as player 3. This is a fantastic zone to run. Now, moving over to where player 1 is also playing in his zone, let's see what you would do with this kind of a defense. So this is when, let's say, we have a team that can shoot maybe 1 or 2 players on the other team. Let's say 2 players on the other team can shoot 3-point shots. Then we would run this kind of a defense where, okay, they're continuously trying to feed the low post, maybe continuously trying to do some high to low post passes because they're unable to consistently shoot the 3-point shot, but they still have 2, maybe 3 players who can shoot the 3-point shot. This is when you have this zone running, or at least this is when you would want to try and sneak a zone in against a team like that, where let's say they're running some kind of a 5 out. We have 5 players out here, and we have player 1 with the ball. Player 1 red is guarding player 1 blue. If he passed to player 4, we would have player 4 red pop out just a bit, but just enough to contest the shot, but still be close enough to the post so that we are still defending that post. Player 1, let's say, would cut, he wouldn't be open, and then we would have player 3 fill. At this time, we would have player 1 cutting off that pass, and they would be forced into doing a skip pass over to player 5. But at this point in time, we would have player 2 red covering just a bit too high and player 3 covering a bit higher as well, so that if there's any lob passes, they're going to get picked off. This is still a very strong defense, but against generally younger basketball teams. Now, if we were running up against a team that was running some kind of a horns offense, what they would most likely do is have a screen set down low for player 3. We would have player 2 popping, and we would have player 1 pass over to player 2 blue. We would then have player 2 red cover the high post. We would have the zone shift like that, and player 2 would be still covering the high post because we don't want any passes into the high post. That's an easy way to destroy a zone defense. We would have player 1 run over to defend player 2 blue. Like I was mentioning earlier, player 1 is our point guard, or at least our fastest player on the court, and that player needs to be running majority of the time when on defense. If, however, the other team tries to run a overload offense, we would most likely have player 1 pass to player 2 and player 1 would cut down. At this point in time, player 4 would then move over to create that extreme overload. Player 1 red would then be covering player 2 blue, and again, now we have gotten to a point where we have just totally defended the overload. We don't have any players in a mismatch trying to defend 2 players at the same time. So this is why, again, this zone is still really handy, but even against a traditional offense that is for zone defenses, it still is able to defend enough players to stay successful. Now, if you're wondering what the Unbeatable Basketball Defense is, what I mentioned earlier on in this video, that is a book and a defense that I created myself. A lot of other coaches have tried it out, and it's worked extremely well. And, of course, a lot of coaches have also purchased the book and done really well. Some have won championships all over the world. Australia is one of them, as well as Spain, as well as a ton of different high school championships in the States and in Canada as well. So definitely go check that out. It works kind of similar to this defense, except the main difference is any player who has the ball from the free throw line and below gets double teamed. Anyways, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. Go check out the video this afternoon as well, because we post twice per day, and I'll see you guys there.